Making a diagnosis of monoarticular tuberculous arthritis is not an easy task. As you know, it's actually a systemic disease. Sometimes on history, you do get a diagnosis that patient may be having pulmonary complications. For example, patient may had a pulmonary tuberculosis in the past history. Our patient may be having a positive family history for tuberculosis. These are the kind of clues you get usually in the history. And then when you are examining the patient, as it is a systemic disease, you need to examine the patient as a whole. At times, the findings are quite clear when you are examining the chest of the patient. And although the findings may be very vague when we are examining the knee joint of the patient, but diagnosis is actually made after detailed history examination and corroborating the evidence with the past history of tuberculosis as well as the family history. The lab workup which we need to confirm our diagnosis or to rule out other differentials usually include the Monto test. The Monto test is actually called as tuberculin or PPD test. It is basically a test done by injecting a subdermal injection in which a wheal or flare is usually seen to make it becomes positive. But the problem with this is that if, for example, a normal person is infected who has been infected with tuberculosis but has a normal immune system and has actually contained the infection, therefore the Monto test for that person would come out to be negative. Therefore, it's only positive in the case of immunocompromised patients. And then other options has to be used, therefore, which includes a clinical workup, which means we have to get some blood workup as well. For example, when we get a blood CP, it sometimes mimics a picture of anemia of a chronic disease. There may be some degree of anemia, raised leukocytes, and leukocytosis highly point out towards the chronic infection of the tuberculosis. Along with that, there is raised ESR and CRP as well. Usually raised ESR, CRP and leukocytosis, they do not exactly point towards tuberculosis, but considering if a patient has a positive family history or a positive past history of pulmonary TB with leukocytosis, ESR and CRP is raised, you can very well point out towards that probably there is a reactivation of the latent infection. But if this patient does not have any of these and still the ESR and CRP are raised, then probably it's very difficult to say this could be tuberculosis or this could be any other chronic inflammation and infection which may be going on, and as a result ESR and CRP are getting raised. Therefore, other tests may also have to be applied. For example, we do apply quantiferon TB gold test as well, and that is a kind of a PCR based test which is quite effective and has very low rate of false positive as well as false negative results. Therefore, it's very effective combining your history examination along with the Monto test and quantiferon TB gold test. All these usually are you're able to confirm this. Nowadays, if you see the latest literature, they are going towards the called as metagenomic new generation assays. These are kind of a very new we started doing this in 2019 and in early 2020 actually, and it's not readily available everywhere, but they have started doing it, and it's highly specific as well as sensitive for actually the DNA material of the Mycobacterium tuberculosis. Although it's has yet to evolve into a rapidly kit testing, but it's in the experimental basis they'll be doing it, and they have found out that it's very easy. Even of a very small sample, you can easily amplify the DNA material and get the assays done for Mycobacterium tuberculosis. The problem is, for example, when we are doing these tests, even other tests are available as well. You have to go for aspiration of the knee joint, you have to go for the synovial fluid analysis, and even synovial fluid analysis is not absolute because sometimes it has always a false positive rate as well, and sometimes just pointing out to chronic infection which could be TB or which could be any other infection as well. And what other options we have is actually when we take a biopsy, we can go for gram staining, which rules out other bacterial infections, And we can go for ZN staining, that is Z Nelson staining, which is more specific for tuberculosis. But again, ZN staining, it's quite time consuming. It sometimes takes 2 to 4 weeks to actually grow the mycobacterium on a certain culture media and then examine it under the histopathology. Therefore, rapid tests are available like quantiferon TB gold test, in which you can easily analyze the genetic material of the mycobacterium tuberculosis quite quickly as compared to the ZN staining. But what is important is that there is no one specific test you can go for. You have to combine your history examination along with your labs and analyze and probably point out whether the patient has tuberculosis or not. And then first and foremost, before you go on towards the other labs, we have to look at the x-rays carefully as well. And when we get the x-rays, AP and lateral view of the knee joint, these are certain pathognomic features which we see there. For example, if you see this in x-ray, it's a lateral view and you cannot appreciate any joint line in between. You can see this is the patella, which has probably resolved a bit. There is distal femur, tibia, and I cannot appreciate any tibial condyle, and there is actually a lot plaque-like reaction as if this whole joint has ankylosed in this. This is quite of a very end stage scenario for the tuberculosis, because eventually there is definitely ankylosis does occur, and eventually this ankylosis leads to there is called as fibrous ankylosis, which has actually occurs over time, and this eventually leads to fixed flexion deformity or fixed deformity which needs a lot of surgical options to be corrected. But initially, if you see x-rays, at times initial x-rays may be absolutely normal, and then gradually as this disease progresses, you may see reduced joint space. There's mild arthritis of the joint as well, along with the cavitations which may be seen in periarticular regions as well. So these cavitations, the subchondral bone, which may be seen especially on the x-rays, can be pointing towards the tuberculosis. But there is no one such thing in which you can clearly say that, okay, this is tuberculous arthritis. You have to combine your history examination, lab workup, along with your radiological workup to make it sure that it points out towards the tuberculosis. Then if you see these x-rays, this is probably a bit early stages, but you can definitely see there is reduced joint space. There is arthritic flare as well as periarticular erosions, although it's not very much visible over here, but eventually it would lead to a point where periarticular erosions would be seen. Other things which we can go for the other radiological workup is actually the MRI. MRI is quite pathognomic as it's initially effusions, which is seen in the tuberculosis of the knee joint. Therefore, on MRI, you will see generalized synovitis, effusion. There may be generalized bursitis as well, and there is the overall generalized edema, which may be involving the joint as well as around the joint structures as well. And all these may be pointing out towards the involvement of the synovium as well as the subchondral bone. And if you see this, now this is actually depicting the cavitations of the x-rays. If you see it over here, there's markedly arthritic changes in the distal femur and the tibia, as well as reduced joint space, and enclosing has almost started over here. But if you can see the furrows being formed in the proximal tibia, this is the cavitations which occur. And after this, once the cavitations start, eventually this will progress towards the sort of ankylosis of the knee joint, in which the knee joint becomes fused due to advanced changes in the knee joint. Therefore, it's important when we are making a diagnosis of tuberculosis, we have to understand that we have to get a detailed history. We have to rule out previous pulmonary TB, previous history of extrapulmonary TB, or even positive family history for tuberculosis. Then by carefully assessing not only the local joint which is involved, as well as systemically assessing the patient for other signs of tuberculosis, like especially in the chest as well as in the joints as well. And then once we have done that, we are pretty sure that probably this is tuberculosis. Then we can go for lab workup such as Monto test, quantiferon, PCR gold, or even ZN staining as well. And combine all these lab workup of the blood CP, ESR, and CRP along with the radiological workup, you can fairly point out towards this that patient probably has tuberculous arthritis of the knee joint.